You want to? What are the topics that we have discussed yesterday?
All right. In our last class,
Yes,
we mostly
Ashik.
discussed about video display devices. From there, we learned working of CRT, then basic operation, resolution, aspect ratio, raster scan display, until we completed bitmap.
So restoration frame buffer that we have discussed that one, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have we discussed this the depth of the color, that one?
No, sir.
No,
Not yet.
no, sir.
Okay. So maybe we finished in somewhere in here, I think.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So for working process, actually, we just recapped actually from the last class itself in yesterday, and nothing new to say. We are trying to focus actually to understand about the activity of the phosphor, that why it is chosen for the display screen, especially for their nature, and what are the common features it can have about lighting or maybe emitting the light itself when it gets charged. Also, we discussed about the redrawing the picture, why it is necessary to redraw the picture. That was actually a concern, right? That maybe we all know that why we need to redraw the picture, especially in
Yes, sir.
CRT.
Yes, sir.
What was the reason for it?
To control the nature of the phosphor.
Pappu said to control the nature of the phosphor. So, what is the nature that you identify that?
Sir, it takes this light when the electron beam emits the hit the phosphor screen. At that time, the phosphor goes off its lights. To control this feature, we need to redraw again.
So that we want to see the image, especially in a continuous mode, right? That is necessary
Yes,
for the
sir.
screen, where the phosphor is actually very quickly it fade out whenever, and it is not also possible that you continuously actually put your electron beam on a specific point. If you do it, then actually your phosphor could burn, your skin also could burn. So as it is actually a moving one, we have seen with the video as well for that you can see here, it's a kind of a painting activity like that. So we need to do it again and again, so at least we can see the continuous image on the screen. So as you know that already someone discussed about refresh rate or 60 times need to redraw. That is coming next our point to discuss. All right, the persistence nature of phosphor. What is phosphor persistence? Fairuz Tanjim Achal. Achal, can you tell me about what is phosphor persistence? Yes, Achal, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes. What about phosphor persistence? Yes.
Sir, phosphorus is the uh, sir,
Time, right?
time time that can be 10 from in between 10 to 60.
No, that is not. That is different. What is actually the persistence nature of the phosphor? That was my question. 10 to 60 microseconds is commonly phosphor persistence for different computer graphics monitor. What we actually use, they have actually the nature of the phosphor persistence. Now, what is phosphor persistence? That was the question actually. Yes, Achal? All right, don't worry. We'll go to Hasibul Hassan Shanto. Shanto, can you hear me? Hasibul Hassan Shanto, can you hear me? Hasibul Hassan Shanto? Okay. Nishat Nassim Jyoti?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Jyoti. About phosphor persistence, what is actually that? That is, just consider like that is a Viva question that you have. How do you define the phosphor persistence in your way? You tried to explain yesterday by drawing something, so many things, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What is persistence for phosphor?
So measure of time.
Time
Of
of
phosphor.
what? Yes. You consider like, look, this is definitely a characteristics of phosphor that we are talking about.
Yes, sir.
Consider like a human. You can run maybe 20 kilometer per hour, right? In 1 hour, maybe you can run 20 kilometer. Maybe you have a brother who can run maybe 30 kilometer in an hour. So you see what actually it is. It is kind of your capability, right, of running. As a human, we have legs, so we can run. Now, for phosphor as well, that different phosphor have different persistence. Persistence as the nature or working process for the phosphor that's why we are using is actually it can emit the light. That means electron beam touch it and it can emit the light. So that nature we are actually using. Now, how long a phosphor can emit the light? That nature is actually related with the persistence that we call. Now, what is the consideration here? It's been saying that the highest actually illumination, the intensity of the light, 100%, from there to 90% when it loses the light, because we know that electron beam touch it, then electron beam gone, it actually glow for a while. Now, how long it can glow? That is actually the question. So from 100 to 90% to come, what is the time it takes? That is actually the persistence of the phosphor, right? Some of the phosphor, like that's why we say 10 to 60 microseconds. So someone might have, as we said, like you are having 20 kilometer per hour for running speed, your brother has 30 kilometer, someone has maybe a further more, someone has maybe less than you. So it can have a different range. So range they have said like 10 to 60 microsecond, the common that persistence for the phosphor they have, right? So it takes maybe 10 microsecond for someone from 100 to 90 reach. From 60, someone may need 100 to 90 reach for 60 microseconds. Right? Is it clear to everyone? Because if you don't understand the substance that what actually we are discussing, then there is no point, because you cannot memorize and can actually survive in this level, in fact. This is not the school level. So in schooling, our education system, now they are changing for many things, but there is a huge loophole actually. Students are actually remembering and getting good marks and becoming a very good student, but it is not. As long as you cannot actually think in a complex manner, that or maybe you might have many questions to arise. If do not remember anything if you don't understand, okay? That's actually the thing. Okay, so for phosphor persistence, that can have low or high persistence, can be used for different purpose. Some characteristics of the light source, especially as you know that whenever you are going to develop a device, any display device or something, then you need to understand very clearly about the light's nature, which is a part of the physics, right? So that's actually about the phosphor that we are discussing, about phosphor persistence. Still, any light source, how the light actually that distributes, or the intensity of the light, how actually it distributes, that we have discussed, right? The first one says in a general format, any intensity of the light source in the center is high. If it goes to the edges, then actually it lost its intensity. and this distribution of the edges are uniformly done. That is actually in statistical and Gaussian distribution, that is called. So from every part you go, well, it will be uniformly done. For any wave also actually uniformly they actually go, unless there is an obstacle. Now, two illuminated phosphor spots are distinguishable. The next point we have discussed, the two spots, they are distinguishable. That means they can be identified in a different two spot if their separation, okay, that line from the circumference for one of the spot to going through the center of both, that separation is greater than the radius of the the diameter of that any of the spot, while another condition is their intersecting point also has to be in such a place that has the intensity not more than 60%. Okay, so that if it is more than 60%, then there is a chance of overlapping or getting close one spot to another. If it is less than 60% or up to 60%, then it is considerable distance they have, so that we can identify their two of the spot. Right? That actually another point we discussed. We also discussed about resolution. We all know that what is resolution. Total number of, or maybe maximum number of the pixel or picture elements that we have in a display image we can have. That is actually the resolution, can be defined with the x coordinate value multiplied with the y coordinate value. That means actually the column and rows, that many column and rows in the multiplication form can actually define that how many pixel it can create. Also, we discussed about the digital display screen size, how we can measure. We can measure from corner to corner, and from that we can identify that how many inch maybe that screen is. We also discussed about the aspect ratio. As we know that the screen, we can actually define the x and y coordinates, and we can actually distribute them in vertical and horizontal line in such a way that they have the same equal length, and their proportion then with the length and height is actually the aspect ratio. So like this example in the screen that you can see, like 4:3 is aspect ratio, indicating that the horizontal line is actually 4 points it has been divided, while the vertical line has been 3 points it has been divided. So the common aspect ratio in the display we have like 16:9 or 4:3 and so on. Then we trying to understand how this raster scanning happen, that actually dot matrix pixel by pixel scanning with that CRT actually display with a gun. We are discussing actually with the general format with black and white, not the color concept yet. So that gun in the single gun is actually painting from top to bottom. We have seen one of the video with the Mario that it is with a camera, powerful camera, in the slowest motion that we can see, it is actually really painting from left to right and creating the images. So electron beam moves across the each row, and beam intensity is turned on and off to create the pattern of the illuminated spot. So if you have black and white, means one gun, then actually we through the signals it goes, and on the basis of the intensity the beam it has, on the basis of that it can create on and off, like entire screen is on while the red dot you can see it is not red, those points maybe it is off, so that at the end of the day after one cycle of painting that you can see there is actually shape. Okay, and this can be done continuously so that you can see the image. Now, what intensity value it should be that the beam should be painted, that is actually the definition of an image. So in image, every pixel, what should be the intensity value that has been stored, and that has been stored in a place in memory that is called the refresh buffer or frame buffer, which we call the picture definition. And the terminology refresh and frame are coming from the activity as well. As you know that from the memory, this gun take the signal again and again and refreshing and drawing that one. That's why refresh buffer. Or another way, it is actually creating a frame and also related with the frame, that how many times actually the same frame can be drawn. So that's why also called the frame buffer. So two terminology can be used, right? And in the frame buffer, this is actually a logical diagram. As you can see, this part is frame buffer, indicating this is the memory, and this is in your display surface, that where actually you can see your image. Now in your display surface, if it is a resolution 800 into 600, so that actually one of the pixels, say like in x and y value, something someone in there, so that pixel at what actually it should be shown, it should be shown checking the actually x and y coordinate, that value in the pixel of that resolution 800 and 600. So that address of that pixel, what is the value it has, that value will be taken, retrieved, and that according to that the gun will put the signal on that to show. Okay, so that is the actually activity here. So frame buffer, always remember the memory where actually it holds the set of intensity values for all the screens. Every cases for any image, you need to define your entire screen, actually the pixel values. So on the basis of that, that intensity values retrieved and then from the refresh buffer and painted on the screen one row at a time. Okay. All right. Any question do you have? Usually, I'm not very happy. Only maybe 1-2 student respond. And still, if you are actually attending the classes, please try to. I know that it's not very easy. It's a non-conventional way that you are doing the classes, but it is really important that you try to understand that what we are discussing. You ask me. If you don't understand, you ask me. You raise the question, then let us have a discussion. But do not just skip, because this is, I can tell you that if whether it will be viva or not, if it is still not, the question will be not like that, that you can actually just pass out. There's a problem. If you copy, I definitely give actually less than 60% marks in that copied content. Okay, so it will be difficult to get a good grade if you are not aware. Okay, so it is also your duty to make an impression here that you do understand. So over the time, your teacher will take the actually some kind of impression from you. And honestly to say, if I go for one viva with you, okay, then in my memory I can put all of your data, and it's not that much necessary to go for furthermore assessment to judge. Okay, so let's go for attendance. I think then we will start with the new topic. Requesting you please to come in the video, please. And this course, I'm telling you earlier that there are many mathematical things are coming. After this chapter, you're gonna see that a lot of activities are coming. Okay, so up to this chapter, we had some understanding about the computer graphics and so on. There are some more of that conceptual related thing, but later we have many algorithm, many activity, and so on. So it will not be very easy. Okay, so you have to be a little bit actually careful about this course. It's not so easy course so far, as you know. Okay, we have Alip Lala Jannat.
Yes, sir.
Jannat, what happened yesterday? Did you come? You were absent, maybe.
Sir, absent.
Yes. So, is there any reason for being absent? If you don't have problem in sleep, that's why I just postponed the class at least for almost like 1 hour, right? 8:30 to 9:15. So anyway, I think this is actually some kind of your effort. You have to give the effort. Okay. Being regular in the class doesn't mean that you are very much eager of learning. rather than it's been showing that you want to be the part of the activity. Okay. All right. Thank you. Ashikur Rahman Ashik.
Yes, sir.
Ashik, you came yesterday?
No, sir.
No, I think mm, many people were absent. Any good reason, Ashik?
So for my illness, I'm not well.
Okay. What happened?
So fever and cold.
Fever, cold. What about your video? Is it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you taking medicine now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, take the medicine, you will be fine. Okay, don't worry. I take classes and everything when I still feel actually sick. So we cannot stop anything. We have to have a very strong heart, okay?
Okay, sir.
Nisha Tara?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Nisha, what about your video?
Sorry, sir.
What about your video and what happened yesterday? Yes, I can see you now.
Sir, I actually forgot. I attended the last class, but I actually forgot.
Okay. Try to note down somewhere that every day what actually you need to do, okay?
Okay, sir.
I still do that because otherwise it's very difficult to remember everything. So try to write down every day that maybe day before night that you write down what you are going to do tomorrow. All right. Okay. Shahidul Islam Antor. Do you have Shahidul Islam Antor? Sumaya Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sumaya. You came yesterday, Sumaya?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Arifa Akhtar Ritu.
Present, sir.
Okay, Ritu. You came yesterday, Ritu?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Jinatul Nisa.
Yes, sir.
Jinat, you came yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Parvez Alam.
Present, sir.
Okay, Parvez came yesterday, I can remember. Redwan Ahmed Ratul.
Yes, sir.
Ratul also came. Salvi Saba.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Saba, you came yesterday?
Yes, sir.
All right. Jakaria Hassan Pappu.
Yes, sir.
Pappu also came yesterday, no? Maria Mehjabin.
Present, sir.
Okay, Maria also came. Israt Jarin.
Present, please, sir.
Jarin, you came?
No, sir.
No. What happened?
Sir, I didn't hear the alarm, sir.
Okay, no problem. I think maybe you will go through that app maybe frequently now. Okay, all right. Abdul Khalek.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Khalek, you came yesterday.
No, sir.
Any good reason for?
Sir, I was actually sorry.
You sorry, you are sick. You said, or
Yes, sir.
what happened?
Sir, fever and cold, sir.
Fever with cold. Okay, are you taking medicine?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if everything is fine, right?
Yes, sir. Now good, sir.
Okay, that's good. I hope that you will continue. Ravina Afrin Ami.
Yes, sir.
Ami is there?
Yes, sir.
Cannot hear you, sorry.
Hello, sir.
Okay, yes. You came yesterday, no? I know. Isha? Does nobody else in Isha? She came yesterday. Okay. Shahriar Toyon? Mohammad Shahriar Toyon? Hussein Ahmed Antur?
Present, sir.
Okay, Antur, what about your video? Yes, you came yesterday, Antur?
Yes, sir. I was present, sir.
Okay, we have another Antur who's absent. What's his name?
Sir, I'm present, sir.
Shoaibul Islam Antur. You are present, Antur?
Yes, sir.
So, what about yesterday?
Sir, I was present, sir.
You are present? Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's good. All right. Pratyasha Roy.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Pratyasha was present. Sharnika. Sharnika is there.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, you were also there, right? Yesterday.
Yes, sir.
All right. Khadija Ria.
Present, sir.
Are you there, Khadija Ria?
Yes, sir. I was there.
Okay. Rahat Islam Rupu.
Present, please, sir.
What happened yesterday, Rupu?
Sir, actually, I was going to my grandfather's home for emergency.
You went to your grandfather's home.
Yes, sir.
You are now at your place, or still
Yes, sir.
in grandfather's home?
In my home.
Where is your grandfather's home?
Sir, because of his illness.
Which place?
Sir, it's called.
No, where it is? Which place?
Sir, in Tangal. It's
yes, we must need to go in. Okay, Wapur, and you are in now?
Tangal town, sir, in my home, sir, police time.
All right. Okay, that's fine. How is he doing now, your grandfather? Is it doing better now?
Seeing all my close faces, then
okay.
Now okay, sir.
All right. Mahmoud Akhtar?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mahmouda. You came yesterday, Mahmouda?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Didar Al Mahmoud? Didar Al Mahmoud? Tamanna Tabassum?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Tamanna. You came yesterday, Tamanna?
Yes, sir.
All right. Saib Mahmoud Sifat? Sifat, yes, after a long time. How are you? I cannot hear you, Sifat. Yes, Sifat, I could not hear you. Can you repeat again what you said?
I said, Alhamdulillah, fine. What about you, sir?
I cannot hear. Can you hear?
Yes, sir. I can hear.
No, I'm just asking your friends. Can you hear or?
Yes, sir. I'm just saying.
Yes, sir. Very low.
Very low, I think. Yes.
No, sir, it's fine.
It's fine. I cannot hear actually.
Yes,
But can you say it again?
I said, Alhamdulillah, fine. What about you, sir?
No, sorry, I couldn't.
Yes, sir. We can hear, but it's breaking.
I don't know what happened. I cannot hear actually. So, all right, Sifat. Someday we will hear actually what happened. I can see you maybe after a week almost. Like, so I do definitely. Some of you are actually known faces to me. So definitely I do follow them. That's what they do. Okay. So I'm just giving you that message. You take it and do accordingly. Fairuz Panjim Achal?
Yes,
Achal
sir.
is here. Okay. And you came also yesterday, right, Achal?
Yes, sir.
All right. Shetuli?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you came yesterday, I know. Uday?
Yes, sir.
Uday, you came?
No, sir, I didn't
No,
come, sir.
maybe. What happened?
Sir, I had an appointment to the doctor and I had to test my blood. So I went to the hospital but couldn't make it because of the traffic jam. So I came back.
Oh,
And
which hospital that you went
Sir,
to?
CMH, sir.
CMH, okay.
Yes, sir.
And what is the problem that you want to go for testing?
Sir, for last 3 or 4 days, I'm suffering for cluster headache, and I'm facing problem in my nasal problem.
Okay.
And I don't know it haven't arisen before. So another problem is I'm facing hypothyroidism when I was like 3 years old. So I need to check up my blood after 1 year or 6 months.
Do you take any consistent medicine for it?
Yes, sir. Thyrox, sir.
Right.
Thyrox 50 mg. So I need to take that for lifetime. So that was the reason I couldn't make it.
Right. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, I wish you good luck. Don't worry. Sadia Hussain
Yes, sir.
Mauri.
Yes, sir.
Mauri, you came yesterday, Mauri?
No, sir.
No. Any reason to say?
No, sir.
No. Nothing?
So sorry, sir.
You were sleeping or maybe not?
No, sir. I'm not sleep, sir.
By that time, yesterday, I'm just curious about to know.
Oh, yes, sir.
If you, as it is a Saturday, definitely if we don't have anything to do, maybe we'll try to have a extended sleep, right? So that's why just asking, or maybe someone can forget as well. There is a chance. All right.
I'm so sorry,
Sadia
sir.
Akhtar, no, it's okay. It's a self-clarification. Whenever I'm asking you, actually, I know that you will clarify yourself. Sadia Akhtar? No, I think she's absent. Mantakimur Rahman?
Yes, sir.
You are present, I can remember. Atik Faisal Imon?
Yes, sir.
Imon also present. Rahul Devnath?
Yes, sir.
Rahul, you came yesterday?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, what about your video?
Yes, sir.
All right. You know that I'm just taking it as a fun that whenever the students asking for audio or video connectivity, that maybe for attendance or asking question or maybe for any reason, you guys are so mean. Even for a few seconds, you just open for your audio or maybe video. But I'm just curious to know that when you go for chatting with your friend or maybe video conversation or maybe for your family, every time you are so much actually what is called concern about how the audio and video goes well. But if it comes about the class or the teacher, then you are so much concerned that there should be an interruption, right? So you are in video, that time your microphone is maybe switched off. If you are on, microphone is on, maybe video is not coming, or if you come, it comes maybe for only 2 or 3 seconds, even I cannot find you. Again, maybe I had to request you, okay, please come back. I'm not telling you, Rahul, yourself, okay? I'm telling to everyone that I sometimes have to struggle to see or to hear from the students, okay? Nishat Tasnim Jyoti?
Yes, sir.
All right, Jyoti, you came, right, yesterday?
Yes, sir. But sir,
Yes.
sir,
Yeah,
I told you,
you wrote
sir.
me a mail,
Yes,
right?
sir.
I have
Yes,
updated already.
yes, sir.
Sadat Mahmud Khan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sadat, you came?
No, sir.
Any good reason, Sadat?
Not a good reason. Actually, I forgot to set alarm.
All right. Yeah, I can see your smile actually. It's okay. No problem. Khaja Minhas Munib.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Munib, you came?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Nahida Islam? Nahida, are you there? She came actually, but today is absent. Okay. Hasibul Hassan Shanto? Oh, Shanto is actually silent, maybe, I don't know. Sharmin Sultana?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sharmin, you came yesterday?
No, sir.
Any reason?
Yes, sir. Sir, I was sick. I'm suffering for fever.
What is the condition now?
Sir, not that much oil, but I'm thinking that I should go to doctor today.
Are you taking medicine any?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, go to doctor or do the test. I think, and then take the medicine. You will be fine. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So don't worry about it. Alamin, Muhammad Alamin.
Sir, Ryan Hussain.
Ryan Hussain, I missed it, right? Ryan,
Yes,
you came
sir.
yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's good. Alamin, Cadet Muhammad
sir.
Alamin, right? Yes.
Yes, sir.
So, did you came yesterday?
No, sir.
No. Any reason? Any activity you had?
No, sir, I was in sleep, sir.
You are in sleep. Okay. You had a good sleep? It was raining maybe for a few days, right? So a good time for good sleeping, right? So early morning class is really very troublesome. Tariqul Islam?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tariq, you came yesterday, right?
Yes, sir.
I can remember. Ashik Jamal?
Yes, sir.
Ashik was there, yeah, that's right. Okay, so 6 people is absent. Anyone missed here? Shanto, Nahida, Sadia, Didar Al Mahmoud. I know that Didar have problem or not. Isha and Toyam. Isha is very unusual. She does not send. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I took a little bit more time actually for Shanto has a microphone problem. Okay, I'll sort it out with you later. Okay. And let us go back to the topic. Sometimes we need to give some extra time for something else for the good, because the attendance is also important, whether the students are coming or not. All right, let's discuss about frame buffer. We already said frame buffer is actually the place in the memory and where the information of your picture will be kept. Okay. Now, the depth or the intensity of the frame buffer is relevant with the depth of the picture as well. That what actually we understand like a high quality picture, low quality picture, and so on. So, as a number of bits, as it is a memory, as we can say, that are used for each pixel is called actually the depth of the frame buffer or the intensity of the frame buffer. And that determines actually the properties such as how many colors can be represented on a given system. So that every image, if we know that, or usually actually any display devices are actually defined like this way, that this display that you can see in my computer, the display, this is actually 32-bit color depth. Okay, 32-bit color depth. I have worked 8-bit color depth in around 2000 that time when I had a color display, 2000, 2001 by that time. So that is actually, you can understand that 8-bit only means every pixel 8-bit has been defined. That means 1 byte. But now every pixel is 32-bit is actually defined. So that has a relationship with the number of color in every pixel can be shown. Now, how it is related? It could be related with a formula that the 1-bit diff frame buffer, when it is, that is 2 to the power 1. That means n-bit diff frame buffer that allow 2 to the power n number of colors. Okay, so if I have 1 bit, then 2 to the power 1, that means the 2 colors only possible, either black or white. Okay, that means it's in on and off situation like that, as every pixel is only defined for 1 bit only. Okay, if we have 8-bit then frame buffer, then actually every pixel can have 2 to the power 8, that means 256 possible colors. Now definitely in 1 pixel you cannot have more than 1 color. It is saying that your depth or your range of the colors you can actually select for your that pixel is out of 256. Any one of them from 256 you can choose for it. If I have 2-bit deep frame buffer, then actually or color depth is 2, then actually 2 to the power 2, that means 4 possible color can be generated, okay, in your pixel. So that in my pixel, now you can imagine that when I'm having 2 to the power 32 bit, that means millions of color is possible in one of the pixel. That's why you can see very real life like images that you can show. In full color system, that is actually the full means you can understand the highest range, also called the RGB color system. They are having 24 bits per pixel in order to display the sufficient colors to represent the most images realistically. Now you may think that maybe few hundred colors, maybe highest. You don't know even the name of the other colors. Then where actually it will come? 2 to the power 24 means actually still few millions. So that many colors are actually possible. So you can see here the light is actually important issue. For red color, maybe it can have a maybe 1,000 shade for the intensity of the light, so that that can create actually the image. So our visual system, you can understand, with the brain is so sharp that we can actually identify millions combination of color up to 2 to the power 24. Now, interestingly, it has been found that after more than 24 bits, if you have, then definitely the new color can be created, but our brain cannot identify the difference. So that's why our highest range in the brain as well is actually 2 to the power 24. So that's actually called the realistic image for it.
Sir.
Yes.
Do you consider black and white to be colors actually? Because we consider these as shades.
No, not color actually. It's been showing actually on for 1 bit, because this is when it is a color actually system, color display system. Then you have a multiple bit, and then the black and white in that color system is actually different, because entire bit, if you have that RGB, that red, green, and blue, when it is actually full value, it will have the value of the color. Then you can see the white. So there is no any color called white. Okay, means any specific color called white. It is actually combination of that 3 of those colors highest value. All other colors are created from this tree, but white and black, and when they are actually no color, then actually you can see the black. This case it's been showing if you don't have any color display, say like in a black and white display that we call commonly is a black and white television, that is also actually not black and white. We are coming in that is actually called the gray level. So if we grayscale, that is coming. So it's been actually just indicating that this is the only 2 option you can have. Let me just
the rest of them are the monochromatic colors.
Yes.
Yes.
If you consider that whenever we are talking about an individual pixel, which is actually part of the many other of those pixels, as you consider, say like it is saying when I'm having 1 bit color depth, okay, for any pixel, say like this one, it will be true for all the pixel for any that display. So when we can say the color depth is 1 bit, that is indicating that 2 to the power of 1, right? That means 2 possible color can be created. Means actually what? For that pixel, either it can be 1 or maybe 0. When it is actually 2 bit color depth, then 2 is squared, that means actually 4. Then your every pixel can have 2 bits. So either it can be 1 0, either it can be 0 0, either it can be 1 1, either it can be 0 1. You understand? Now this is the combination is coming now. High, low, and high, low, like this way it's going. So when I'm having actually 3 bit color depth, that means every pixel can have maybe 3 combination of the color, right? So 2 to the power 3 is actually 8 combination of color is possible. So that's the relationship of the depth of the color. Do you understand now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that's actually showing like when I'm having 8 bits, so that 256 possible colors. So your every pixel will have definition of the color is actually 8 of the bit. Yes.
Sir, I had a question. Lately we are using 32 and 64 bit. So does that bit also represent this color as well?
32 bit for color depth. Okay, that is actually extra bit has been used, but human brain cannot identify more than 24 bits.
We have that much capability to use in that screen.
Your system has the capability, but our brain does not have that capability.
It's 10 up to 24. Yeah, got it.
They have actually used that bit for actually the system's facility to give for the functionality, nothing else. like my computer is actually having 32-bit. Most of the computer you will find now with updated operating system with 32-bit color depth. Now, that actually after 24-bit, I cannot see different other color. I can see maybe any similar color with that. But that 8 extra bit has been used for actually the system allocation. Right?
Got it, sir.
Okay, now bitmap, pixmap. When we have actually 1 bit per pixel, that just we have discussed now, is called actually the bitmap. Maybe only it stays on a black and white system with one high and low that we can define. Pixmap, it says when we have a multiple bits per pixel when it is defined. Just we have seen like 8-bit is multiple bits. So every pixel has been defined with the 8 number of bits or 1 byte for it. That is called actually the pixel. Refresh rate, we discussed in one of the situation about redrawing the picture. Now every second, that how many number you redraw the image, that's actually called the refresh rate. Now entire content you have for every image, the entire content in your frame buffer that you are taking actually to that one, that with your processor, taking that one and giving it to the signal with the electron beam to actually paint on the screen at such a number that you cannot see the flicker. Okay, flicker is actually the gap between the frame, so that a blackish gap you cannot see. Otherwise, actually, we can see that the steady image that we are seeing, it does not actually can be found, and this is true for every screen that has been. And this rate is actually called the refresh rate. Rate always is related to some number which is related with the time. So it is actually 1 second how many times the picture has been drawn to avoid the flicker. That means the gap. You don't want to see the gap between the images, so that actually to avoid the flicker, that number is actually called the refresh rate. Like 60 is common, as you know, that the steady image on a CRT display, even the display that we use, same path must be traced or refreshed by the beam at least 60 times per second. Okay, it can be higher in some devices, more than 60, and some system can be actually handled with 120 frames per second. That means every second it has been drawn 120 times. So very busy activity goes on. And that is described in units of cycle, which is actually can be said as per second, which is defined with the hertz as the unit. The cycles per second, that means 1 second how many times. So 60 hertz means actually 60 frames per second it can do. Okay, so the refresh rate is a common term you can find with your any devices that what is the refresh rate it has. It can vary device to device, the type of the device to device. So we are talking about computer device with the monitor display, but there are some other display as well. They have a different number of refresh rate. The display technology on a monitor is different from that of a film. The film projector, as you know, the film projector actually throws that on the some of the surface, can maintain the continuous display of a film frame until the next frame is brought into the view. So it can actually hold the display. It has a mechanism. So the next frame can come and then actually you can show it. On a video monitor of a phosphor spot begins to decay as soon as it is illuminated. That is the reason. That's why we need to display. Especially in films, below 24 frames per second, we can perceive a gap between successive screen images. So the film which is captured with the camera, that is actually more than 24 frames. The 24 frames is the lowest level. So if it goes actually lower than 24, then we can see a gap. That is actually the flicker. So what actually happened, there's an interesting thing you will understand now, that old silent films, maybe around 20s, earlier than 20s, yes, those films, when the first actually the film was made, that time, that was photographed at a rate of 16 frames per second. Okay. Now, whenever that's why if you will have found that way to check, because everything has been digitalized now, and they have been actually after 1920s, those were actually at least increased up to 24 frames per second, so that you cannot see the flicker. But if you somehow see any record for very old, you can see that after one image there is actually gap, and there is a something has been added in between, so that you can see a black gap or maybe something like a cycle that is actually moving, then the second image is coming. Okay, that has been taken from 16 to 24 frames, so that you can not see the flickering.
So we can consider as stop motion films.
That's I'm giving you example.
Yes, sir.
The Charlie Chaplin black and white,
Yes, sir.
those movie. You see that this looks hilarious, isn't it? Hilarious. Why? Is it possible for a person to walk that speed, the way Charlie Chaplin walks? You have seen that. Why actually it is so? Because it was naturally, when it was taken in 16 frames, that was a natural speed of his walking. But when it was taken for 24 frames, then what happened? It became very quick, isn't it? Now you can see in those films in the Charlie Chaplin, so everyone is moving very quick. That is actually the upgradation of the 16 to 24 frames. And another example you will find, like in television, is actually 25 to 30 frames in the transmission for that refresh rate that they do. You can find the refresh rate of the computer screen and in the television, they do actually differ. If you see the news, many news channels now actually, when the news reader actually reads the news, the back side, in the backward, you will find like people working in the computer, or maybe any video you do. And if you in the video check with the computer screen, you will see that it is not synchronized. There are still some gap of the frames. That's why you can see the screen of the computer, of the monitor, is actually moving in such a way that you cannot actually see it properly. And that is actually happening for your camera, that frames that is taking, because that has a refresh rate, and the refresh rate of your that monitor is actually different. So that's why you can see like that image is different. You can check for any day when you go for television, that time you can find out that through that television, that the news you are actually checking, in the back-end side, that people are actually using any computer, that computer screen is not very much readable. Okay, that's about the refresh rate. Interlaced raster scan displays, some minute we have, no, it's over. Odd even scan line covered, we said about this one when it is painted from top to bottom. This painting activity has been done actually in a odd and even cycle. So that is starting from 0, then 2, then 4, then 6, like this way. Then they go back to odd cycle for 1, then 3, then 5, and like this way it goes. Okay, so this 30 frames per second with twice of them, and looks like that they are actually 60 frames per second. Okay. All right, random. This is raster scanning. Random scanning, how it is done, that we are going to discuss now, because random is actually vector scanning display, the vector display. So far, our all discussion is related with the raster, because all the devices are raster devices. But still, we need to know how the random scanning is done. So the image, you can see here how the triangle has been drawn in the vector display, as comparing with how the triangle has been drawn in the raster display. Okay, so maybe next day we are going to, in there we will be a little bit quick, maybe so on, because it's taking too much time. We're discussing maybe many things, even though they are necessary, but still we have to be a little bit quick. Okay, all right, thank you very much. Do you have any question?
No, sir.
Okay, if not, then I'll see you on the next class. Then hopefully many of you will come. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care.
Okay, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.